past 18 plus years, I've been helping clients learn to trust themselves. They struggle with so much anxiety, and so much of what anxiety is about is doubting ourselves, doubting our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our perspectives. We don't feel important. We feel like everybody else knows what they're doing, but we don't. All of the comparison, wanting to fit in, never feeling like we're quite getting it right, as if there's like a right way. If this resonates with you, I invite you to stay tuned for this conversation about what is really going on when we can't seem to trust ourselves. And when we look for it on the outside, and there's all these opinions and perspectives, we might get it from professionals. We might tune in and read books, watch YouTube videos. I've certainly done a lot of that, and I am not knocking any of these options. I've done it all. But for so many years, I was looking outside for all the answers to fix a problem that I finally realized I don't even have. We are always trying to fix a problem from the human perspective of living our life. When I started connecting more and becoming aware of my own spirituality, what I believed about who I was, why I'm here, how did I even come to be here, and that I am a powerful creator of my experience. That last one was a big kicker for me. It's hard to believe at first, at least it was for me. And so often when I'm meeting with clients, we have beliefs that feel like absolute truths. And we started believing what we believed when we were little. So we don't often question them. But while we all can have so much in common about being human, feelings we have, struggles we have, all of those things, we still have our own unique beliefs and perspectives. And if we're always chasing something else, something that we need to learn so that we can apply and educate and transform ourselves, then that means at the ground level, we believe there is something wrong with us. Why do we believe that? Where do we learn that we're not okay? And what I've experienced, and I'm curious what any of you have experienced with regard to at what point did you first become aware and believe there was something wrong with you? We may be able to name an age that we were, or it might seem like it's just always been this way. For me, I feel like I just came out being a people pleaser. I was sensitive. I was what I would call caring and supportive to other people. I always focused on everybody else. It was just like natural for me. So it was no surprise when I became, got training to be a therapist. And then now I'm also offering support, mentoring, guidance as a spiritual coach that goes even beyond being a therapist in the mental health arena, because we can't just reduce ourselves down to our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, what's going on in society, and what do I need to do to fit in, or what do I need to do to be functioning at a level that would be considered successful, being able to achieve and accomplish goals and desires that we have for our life. And then when we fall short, what happens? We're like, well, why can't I do it? Everybody else is doing it. And so we're looking at ourselves, judging ourselves. We have all these parts of us. We've got the parts that deep down hold our doubts and insecurities. We've got parts that dream, that have desires that we want to fulfill, but those are usually halted, stunted, blocked, or whatever, because we might not feel we deserve it. We might not feel that we are interesting enough, skilled enough, talented enough. Who would really care about me, kind of a thing. And who am I to do this thing? And yet, we all probably have this in common. It just may not be at the same levels. And for some people, they have other aspects of themselves that can come into the spotlight that don't remain held back by the doubt, by the fear. Fear can be so paralyzing. I know this really, really, really well. There was a time in my life while I really have enjoyed all my years as a therapist. There were about 7 years of that time where I was working for an employer and it was really, really stressful. And I knew I wanted to go out and be on my own and wanted to do the entrepreneurship thing. I hesitated on that for years. I was like, I could not take the leap. And I actually didn't take the leap until I was so fed up with an aspect of that current job and I was on a break and I was told I had to do this certain training and it went against everything that went against my values, went against how I like to work with people as a therapist. And that line I couldn't cross. So being frustrated and just like done, I got over my fear. I still felt the fear, but it no longer held me back. So if any of you can relate, is there something you want to do, but you can't seem to choose it? Maybe you don't even let yourself dream it because you've got all the reasons why it won't work out. So, what I love to help people do is learn to trust yourself. Learn that you have such valuable resourcing, wisdom, awareness, skills, abilities, and all just by being you. Certainly, you could get training in different things, enhance what you already are, but just as you are, I feel like now more than ever, like in the coaching mentoring space, there are so many lovely people offering so many services on YouTube, different platforms, whether it's live one-on-ones or guided, educational practices in videos or books. It's all of value. And if it means something to you and you've gone through something and you have wisdom to share and teach with others, other people will want it. Other people will want it. And it's also about following our passion, which we can't do if we are paralyzed with fear. So, how do we learn to trust ourselves? So, what I teach and guide people to do, because I'm all about teaching you how to do it so you don't need a therapist, a coach for the rest of your life, because we just need to remember all that we are and access that wisdom and be able to trust and have faith in ourselves. But we can't do that if we're in our head, if we are on automatic pilot, running on survival mode, focusing on all the things, getting things done, trying to accomplish things on your to do list. The practicalities of life can take over so much. And I still experience this sometimes. And it really can cut off our inspiration and our passion and our creativity. So, how we connect back with ourselves and remember all that we are is through some sort of meditative process or practice. And I'm not talking about necessarily very structured meditations, those can be helpful. What I teach people is to be aware of all the different parts that we have. And how can you tell? You can tell by what thoughts are coming up and tuning in. We have a judge, we have a doubter, we might have anxiousness that connects in with a part. All the parts of us are trying to protect us. So if you are easily distracted, if you just know you really want to to do something, but it's in the area of maybe putting yourself out there, then we have parts that will just distract us so fast we don't even know what's happening. But when you start becoming aware of all this, you can literally take steps to do something about it. We are not helpless to ourselves. It can feel that way. There are days where some of my parts running feel so strong. And I know deep down there is just this desire to connect with people, to have deep conversations about what do we feel is really going on? What do these other parts of us really want? And how about our soul, our true self, which is a consciousness? It doesn't have a physical presence, but it's with us, it's within. And the consciousness that we bring into our physical experience as a human, it's all connected. And I have found this is where we get to experience joy. If I'm run by my achiever part, if that's on a high level where it just wants to take over, and that can be great. We can be in a flow, especially if there's something inspired that we really want to do or create, and the achiever is just right on board. But if it's sort of the energy of an ego that is feeling pressured, that's feeling fearful, that feels it needs to achieve so that it can feel good about, so that we can feel good about ourselves. That's a setup because we'll be chasing and chasing and chasing that. And that's what I hear every day in my practice working with people. This perpetual, whatever they're struggling with, it all comes down to the different parts. And it's so amazing. I met with a client today who was wanting to talk about this certain thing in a relationship. And within a 30-minute period of time, so much clarity. I guide people back to their heart. I do heart coherence. We validate what's there, what thoughts of the different parts and the feelings, because often that's all pushed down. And if we don't acknowledge all of our parts as they need us and they want to be seen and heard and cared for, then we can't really be in the joyful, connected, really fun experience of all that we are. So, if this makes sense, if you'd like to know more, if you are curious and have questions, please feel free to comment. Like this video if you felt it helpful. Feel free to subscribe and share with others. This is how we all learn and expand. We're not alone, and we're experiencing so much of this, and we are constantly told in some way that we aren't enough, that we should always be working on something and changing. And a life of more joy, peace, and freedom can be experienced when you realize all that you are. Thank you so much for listening.